everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rockwardness, the podcast where we interview musicians about the very beginning of their musical journey, and they play us one of the first songs they ever wrote. I'm your host, Rose Sean, and my co-hosts are my brothers from other mothers, Terence LeClaire and Tony Tancredi. On this week's episode, we sit down with an artist who's originally from Houston, Texas. He's run a gamut of musical expressions from punk and hardcore bands to his own self-proclaimed house rock and blues band, Grandfather Child, to various solo projects, including producing and DJing under the name Heaven the Dude. In his present iteration, we know him as Lucas Heaven, and his song Every City Has a Rhythm was featured as KCRW's Today's Top Tune. If you're not from LA, that is a really very extremely big deal. We talk about how amazing public libraries are, the cultural significance of DJ Screw and his Screw tapes, and we get into some very heady territory about information theory as it relates to music. We get some real good stories about the Houston music scene in the 2000s. I so wish I could have seen this party band he's going to tell us about. And a 3-week psychedelic life journey that opened him up to writing his own songs. Please enjoy our psychedelic life journey with Lucas Heaven.
Curate the mood I want. That's fine.
Is this? I should be like close up on it, right?
We were talking about the public library on the way on the way over here.
Because this is actually kind of funny. What were we talking? We got onto Ralph Nader, but like Ralph Nader talked about how like, oh, this is years ago. He was saying Barnes and Nobles is like this dates it by just saying Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles is like starving local libraries, which is like, you know, something taxes pay for that people should go check out. And it was like, and I remember at the time thinking, oh yeah, that's so true. People are going to read at Barnes and Nobles, and they could go read at the library.
Wow.
And so we're talking about the library.
I didn't know that was an issue, bro.
I didn't know that either, to be honest.
No idea.
But then we started talking about like how nice the Central Library is downtown and whatever.
Downtown
That library
is
is awesome.
And then we were talking about how like you could get all these things from the library, like you can do courses through them, and you can like
a lot of free resources for the public.
Well, it's funny because like that's what we pay for. Like it's like, so when people are just like, yeah, in Europe they have taxes and stuff's cheaper because all the taxes are so high. I'm like, we're doing that here. We pay for libraries.
We're
but we
actually
don't go
doing
to
a lot
them.
of things that a lot of people are not taking advantage of.
Yeah. We
But,
forget.
I mean,
it's like America's Garage, where it's just like we keep a bunch of shit in there and we forget that it's there.
A bunch of useful stuff.
It's like we bought libraries. It's just like, but we don't use them.
Well, we don't have to tell you about libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know all about
You can tell me about libraries.
Yeah. I know. But that's like how we were getting into it. Like, just it's perfect timing for this day.
Yeah. Lucas Heaven is
Yeah,
back.
welcome.
What up?
Back in the
Take two.
studio. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the redo because of the explosion of the hard drive.
Yeah, we're finally
Yeah.
getting our mulligan, which we're pretty
Yeah.
excited about.
Thank you
Thank you.
for having me again.
Of course. We were looking forward to it.
So you remember exactly what you said
We're
last
gonna
time,
do
right?
verbatim.
I'm gonna, I think, play the same song that I played last time.
Hell yeah.
But I
Okay,
haven't
great.
practiced that one since then.
That's
So,
good.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried either. You're a great player.
And, no one's going to hopefully know. Unless they find the busted hard drive someday, mysteriously.
file.
Which is
That
hidden.
file's gone.
It's gone. It caught on fire.
That file
It's
is
hidden in the
gone.
downtown library. It's actually part of the puzzle quest. Yeah.
Somehow the library got a hold of something that
Yeah.
was never put online.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wouldn't that be cool? The internet saved us again.
Yeah.
All right, take it back to the start.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Let's talk about you and your musical beginnings.
Okay. Hell yeah. I guess I started playing when I was 13 with my cousin Nelson. And
Shout out Nelson.
Yeah, shout out Nelson. And actually, me and him learned a lot about music together. He put me on to stuff. Like, he got an electric guitar and I got a bass guitar.
Nice.
And we started on that.
Were they Squire starter packs?
It was something like, or no,
Yeah.
it was a PV.
Yeah.
It was a
yeah.
PV. Are y'all music heads, right?
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
musicians
Yeah, I
and
remember
stuff.
we
know,
were like
I had-
I know
nerded out
Rose,
about
Rose
gear.
plays music.
I think I had the PV too.
Yeah.
Now that I think about
I definitely had a PV amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So it was a
Yeah.
PV bass, and I
Yeah.
loved that thing, and I was getting started on that, playing bass.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I still play bass.
Yeah.
You still have that bass?
No.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, looking back on that, it was like cool because like my cousin Nelson, he like didn't really pursue music as a player. And then he put me in touch with this buddy he was like in high school with when we were like, you know, really young. And like that dude played accordion. And we would play like Tejano.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? Or like conjunto kind of Tejano music and stuff.
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that was cool. We would like jam out in my mom's garage
Oh, sweet.
with the accordion and stuff like
Nice.
that.
You
know
could
what I mean?
like turn up kind of loud.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, the very beginning. But I mean, I was always in a musical place because of my parents. They were big music fans.
Yeah.
My dad was a big music fan of jazz and all that. And then my mom was like more like soul, but also like they both like Mexican music.
Yeah.
So
There was some influences I remember, like
yeah, for sure. Santana, War.
Yeah.
And all these bands are like my favorite bands right now. Santana, War, Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
A lot of like Hall &
Yeah.
Oates on like the road trip.
Dude,
Oh.
Hall
You
&
know.
Oates, really super solid pop songwriters. I don't know if you remember, maybe 10 or so years ago, The Bird and the Bee did a Hall & Oates tribute album. And it made me appreciate like what really good songs they are, because like, you know, now the production feels dated, but like those songs all slap.
Yeah, I mean, they play them at every wedding ever.
Yeah.
So like, that
Yeah.
must mean something. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Like,
you know, in the conversation about like the music, you know, your parents listen to, I think we should also like remember to mention that you're from Houston.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Tejano music
H2.
is like big in Texas.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's-
absolutely.
yeah.
That's what made that happen, you know?
Yeah.
And like, we're Mexican, American or whatever. American Mexican. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you know, I'm not from Mexico.
I'm like, yeah, like you
But-
don't sound like it.
No, I'm not from Mexico. I'm from Texas, you know. But yeah, man. I mean, like we always had like that, like Mexican music growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that kind of international thing was a big. And then Brazilian music, like my dad was into that dude Stan Getz.
Oh yeah.
the
Yeah,
saxophone
that's
players.
right.
So like he was like really into that, and we were always hearing that, you know, and
It's like bossa nova, right?
yeah. And then like we would, I mean, just like really great stuff. Sade.
Oh, yeah.
Like my mom was listening to Sade,
Yes.
Anita Baker, things like that. Like really good stuff. Yeah, that was like the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I love Sade. I was just thinking, like, you know, I feel like most people have this moment in their life where, like, they sort of kind of switch away from, like, what their parents are listening to and start, like, kind of pursuing or you know, developing their own taste, I guess. When you started kind of listening to, like, your own music, what was, like, the first thing that you remember being attracted to outside of your parents'
I think
influence?
like my older sister like had such a huge impact on me then because she showed me the Nirvana tape with the
yeah.
Naked Baby, you know,
yeah.
Never
from, like,
mind.
and like Blood Sugar Sex Magic,
Yeah.
like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That was a big one for
Two
me,
of
too.
the
Yeah,
best
like-
albums.
Like-
91 was a crazy
Yeah.
year 'cause those both came out that year.
Are y'all old like me?
I'm
Yeah.
old. Yeah. Gen X.
'Cause, I mean, you know.
Blood
Yeah,
Sugar
n-
Sex Magic was actually one of. I got 3 CDs for Christmas in 6th grade, and one of them was Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
That
That's
like
cool.
it's crazy
Yeah.
because like that Nevermind, Pearl Jam 10, Soundgarden, like all of them came out in 91 that
Yeah,
year.
it was
Wow.
great.
Crazy.
Great records came out
Yeah.
that year for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that, you know, more like rock. And
Yeah.
then I feel like it was like middle school and I was like, you know, hearing like Weezer, you know,
Right.
and really liking that.
Blue album, so
Oh,
good.
Yeah, that was
One of my
iconic
favorites.
for me.
I just played it over and over and
Yeah,
over and
same.
over again. Yeah,
That's good pop songs too.
yeah, yeah. Very
But
solid.
like rock, and then also we listen to a lot of rap. My parents didn't like rap, you know, but
That
like,
makes sense.
We listened to a whole lot of rap. Me and Nelson, we listened to a lot of Ghetto Boys and stuff
yeah.
like that. And yeah, I mean, like when high school, like getting more into like Master P and the Cash Money Millionaires and stuff like that. I was listening to a lot of that stuff with my friends, and then DJ Screw.
DJ
You know, we listened to a lot of DJ Screw, who, you know, was like really important to Houston music. He's like the slowed down sound.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Where they like slowed the track down and it sounds very sinister and
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of diabolical.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, and I mean, there's like, he was a legendary DJ from Houston
Yeah.
and,
Oh, yeah.
and like very innovative.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people weren't really doing that before. And he had such a crazy story. He like got big off of selling tapes out of his house.
Oh, wow.
So like, and there'd be like, it was kind of like a folk music thing because people would be like, hey, make me a mixtape, make me a screw tape.
Yeah.
And, you know, they'd come over and like buy it. He'd like do a custom mix for them.
Wow.
And slow it all down and like get people to come do freestyles over it. And,
That's so
so
cool.
you know, and so like
That's
a lot of it was like
amazing.
maybe like a person's birthday tape or something.
Oh,
And all the
yeah.
homies would be like throwing verses on there, like all these Houston
Oh, that's
rappers and stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you know, it's folk music in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
I bet
is.
those are worth a lot of money now.
If you can find the old ones, you might like get a little something.
but
a
I mean,
lot of
they're
them,
probably hard to find.
Actually, you know what? He's such an institution. There's a store in Houston called the Screw Shop.
Oh, wow.
And so
wow.
it's like a storefront, and it's like a bunch of his CDs, and like they're like in CD form, not on tape form,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But and it's like, I guess, you know, carried on by somebody in his family or
That's so
or
cool.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's a
amazing.
pretty cool thing. And then like the University of Houston has like an archive
Oh, really?
of his stuff, like
Oh,
a
wow.
bunch of his records and his, you know, ephemera or whatever.
Yeah,
stuff.
wow.
I mean, like a bunch of his stuff. It's like, so he's like an institution, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
apparently.
so we heard a lot of that in high school. I remember hearing that when I was like 16 or something and being like, what the hell is this? You know, like, this is fucking weird. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, how did he do that? How does he make the music sound like that? You know, and it's like people would be cruising around smoking blunts and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like that kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Sipping lean. You know, that
Yeah,
was
lean,
part of the
yeah.
culture of that
It's
music.
Cody and Coca-Cola.
You know.
Oh, is
right?
that what that is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
it's like
learned that 'cause-
Sprite. They would
yeah.
put it, you know, at the purple stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of that good stuff, good music from that era that came out of that, like
Yeah.
kind of
It's a
drug
Texas
drug
Oh,
culture
yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, yeah, the Texas coast.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I mean, he was the first person to do that thing with slowing it down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe not the first, but he was the first to do it like that. I mean, because fools have been like slowing down tape and like
Yeah.
that's how they did Alvin and the Chipmunks. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They just sped the tape up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I did know that.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
but I think in a lot of ways you're right. He was the first one to do it for rap and to
Yeah.
like do it like DJ mixes like that.
I mean, I just think it's cool that he's like such a cultural institution that like the university has an archive of
Yeah,
his
you can
stuff.
you can go
Yeah, that's
see it.
really
It's like
cool.
part of the special collections
Scholarly.
and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, actually, the librarian who did that project is like a really cool person and one of the people who inspired me to become a librarian.
Yeah, back
That's
to
awesome.
libraries,
So
man.
it's like still like in the creative musical realm
Mm-hmm.
and like really specific.
That's really cool.
And so it's like, yeah, her and like another homie of mine who's in Mexico. He's a librarian in Mexico.
Hell yeah.
Like
Nice.
they're like, I was like, that got me on this road of thinking like, I could do that. That
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Like,
you know?
right, like
Yeah.
way more possibility than you would have imagined as a
Yeah.
kid, I'm sure. At what point did you start like creating your own music? I mean, like writing, I suppose.
I think like more so in my early 20s. And then even then I wasn't really able to write as much. It's kind of more like hadn't enough lived experience or something
Yeah.
to write about things. But then, you know, my mid to late 20s, I started like writing my own tunes.
Were you playing? Were you in like a bunch of bands in high school or anything like that?
In high school, I was in a couple. I was in this like rock and Espanol band. That was pretty fun.
What's the name?
They were called Los Maléficos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool, like, fun thing to do. Very like Texas sounding Spanish rock.
Nice.
But then, I mean, eventually I kind of just started playing more punk. And then in college, I was in like a punk band called Satin Hooks.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Satin Hooks.
Yeah. And then,
What did you play bass?
I played bass.
Yeah.
Yes. And then, I mean, kind of after that, that dude in that band who, well, there was a couple of guys in that band who really like, as I befriended them, they like put me on a crazy ass music, you know, like more experimental stuff and more like world music and international music. So it was like that set me off on this other
Oh, yeah.
trajectory.
That's kind of interesting. So it was your punk band mates that put you
Yeah.
onto that. I find like people who are really into punk sometimes are like really tribalist about it, you know, where
Yeah.
it's like punk or
Only
nothing.
They were
Yeah.
different,
Yeah,
though. They
sounds
weren't
like
your
it.
standard, people.
Sounds
These
like
guys
it.
were real freaks,
Yeah.
I mean, and I say punk, really because of the ethos. I was in a couple of hardcore bands where I played bass, but like those didn't really last long, and it was just for fun,
Yeah.
with homies and stuff like that.
Nice.
Well, I mean, that music is very fun to play, like,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it was like a whole like crew community, kind of like lots of places to play, like parties and shit.
For sure. Like
Yeah.
back in those days, the early 2000s,
Yeah.
2001 through 6 or whatever, man, Houston
there
was
some, like,
amazing.
Golden age.
Oh my God, it was
Yeah.
incredible.
Parties
It
or
was just-
something. I remember last time. Gosh, like I don't know. Did you have any stories from then? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that was just like this whole moment in like the Houston scene where there was a lot of rock bands that were playing in this area called Montrose. So it's like, if any Houston people ever hear this, they don't know what I'm talking about. It's like Montrose is like a really nice area. It's like had a lot of culture and a lot of like different stuff has happened there. Used to be like a gay hood, that's where all the gay folks live.
Oh, so it's the Houston Silver Lake.
Yeah, and like eventually, got yuppified and like, lost a little bit of its edge, but it's back in like 2001, 2006, there was like a ton of amazing rock bands that were like doing their thing. And I was like always on that. I was trying to like tap into that. And yeah, there was a lot more small venues, like 100 cap, 150 cap venues. And there were a lot of house parties. I was in this party band called the Turkeys. I maybe told you all about that last time. I don't remember. Honestly, I have no idea what we talked about last time.
I know. Like,
I have like absolutely zero memory of what
same.
we talked about.
I just remember like talk about that scene. Just like tell us about Turkeys.
Yeah, so the Turkeys, it was a party band. It was a lot of fun, and it was like
Party band.
yeah, it was a party band. We had some like rules. So like one of the rules was like we wouldn't play unless there was a keg. like so somebody had to provide a keg. Like, and then sometimes we would like get asked to play, but they were like, there's not gonna be a keg though. And then we would be like, you know what? We'll bring the keg. You know what I mean? Like, we'll bring the keg so the deal can happen. You feel me?
That's so funny.
That is a very funny role.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so stupid. And like the dudes who I played in this band with, a couple of them I'm still really good friends with, and that's awesome. Man, we had such great times. I mean, like, I was so stupid though. It was like all the songs had like something to do with turkey. Like it was like you know what I mean? Like party foul.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
me? Like party foul.
Yeah.
What's another one? Get based in the face. I remember that. Anyway, like other
Based
shit
in
like
the face.
get based in the face.
And one
hit.
song's about like the country,
Yeah.
Oh my
just
God.
to mix it up a little bit.
We should have done that.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and it was butt rock. It was very like
yeah. That's fun.
you guys know guitars.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like gonna be fun. There was this fucking relic guitar that was like being passed around like the Houston scene, and it was like nobody paid for it. It just kind of came into your life, and then it left, and it was this really shitty BC Rich Warlock. Do you know what those are?
yeah.
Do you know what those are?
That's
like
a black spider right
yeah,
there.
that's like the really like metal looking like like black
Oh,
metal.
we know it.
Yeah,
We
this,
know
Big
it.
humbuckers.
yeah. And I played that like only in this
Oh,
band. Like
nice.
I was like,
That's
this
beautiful.
guitar came to me somehow, and then like I was like shredding.
It's like Chunk City.
Yeah, it was like a lot of like dumb shredding, and yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I
mean,
love it.
Yeah,
I
mean
love
that was we played a lot of parties where people did dumb shit, and kicked holes in the ceiling.
Oh my
and,
goodness.
like just really
In the ceiling?
Yeah, that sounds tough.
That's
Like,
hard to
that-
do.
Well, they'd like crowd surf or something like inside a house.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it was just amazing. It was a great time to be a musician.
How old were you when that was happening?
Like 22
yeah.
through 26
Oh,
or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like
early 20s, yeah.
something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so much like exuberant young male
Yeah,
energy
yeah.
in
Yeah.
like a tight space.
We have a
Yeah.
mutual friend, Roth. He's from Houston. Was he in any of these bands with you or?
No, because he's a little younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like from like a crop younger.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, like I think he's maybe 3-4 years younger than me or something
Okay.
like that. So
Little baby.
yeah, I'm not sure. Houston's big. There was like a whole
Did you guys know each other in Houston?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I met
Oh
him.
wait,
I met him
did Ralph
through.
I know?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I met Ralph through Joe. You know Joe? He has an artist named Yippa.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So Joe,
We love you, but shut
so
up.
Joe, I mean, me and Joe were around, not in that particular rock scene, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in this just other community of people, and back in this time period,
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was kicking it hard with Joe like often,
Oh,
and
sweet.
so like when he moved out here to Long Beach, and then when I moved out here like 10 years ago, I was like, I started hitting him up and be like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm in Southern California, let's hang out, and then eventually I met Ralph, and now
Oh,
that's
sweet.
how I met Tony.
Yeah, that's
and that's
great.
why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh my
shout
God,
out Ralph.
yeah.
Shout out Ralph. We love
Shout out
Ralph.
Ralph. Shout out Joe.
Yeah,
Always
Yippa
shout
did a
out
rad Fever Dream remix for
he
Double
remixed.
Wish. Yeah.
Yeah, he remixed our friend's song.
Double
like,
Wish.
Yeah, he knows Adam and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and through all those cats,
Yep, yep.
the Orange County connection. I like to say Double Wish is probably my favorite alternative rock band. In,
They're so
in Orange County.
They're so
Boom.
good.
Same.
They're so good. I know. Like,
They're really good.
Oh, yeah.
They're really good.
yeah. I mean, when we interviewed Adam too, it was. I think they'd put out like one song.
That's like the band that Awkwardness broke almost. The one band.
Yeah, let's take credit.
No, it's just good
No,
timing.
Adam, you're an amazing
Yeah.
songwriter.
No, but that's so cool. You know what? I didn't know the connection before. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that worked out.
When did Grandfather Child's start?
Like 2008, it's 7, 8, something like that. Must have been 2008 actually, because so I had this like breakup, and then I wanted to travel. So one of the homies from the Turkeys,
Yeah.
he was like, "Yo, let's go out to California and enjoy life," and so I rode the Amtrak for the first time, like from Houston to LA.
Oh, damn.
And then I had this like steel guitar that was gifted to me by one of my homies back then. And then I took it on the road because I was like a little different back then. I was more like open to like busking and
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that, And so I was like, I took the steel guitar on the road, and then I came out to California in August 8th, 2008.
888.
I landed here and I saw this band, the Boredoms. Y'all know the Boredoms?
Yeah.
So there's this band, the Boredoms, did this thing at the La Brea Tar Pits.
Oh, cool.
It was
Yeah.
and it was 88 drummers
What?
on 888.
Yeah.
And so it's like this huge group of drummers playing this crazy piece of music or something, and then like had this whole like psychedelic crazy life journey in that like 3-week period. Rode the train to San Diego, rode it to San Francisco, and like
Yeah.
did like all this living. It was
Yeah.
like big living,
Oh, yeah.
And I came back to Houston like fully energized, and that's when I started Grandfather Child with one of my best friends. Also coinciding with that, it was like one of the homies from that band, Satin Hooks, showed me this video called Sacred Steel. Okay, and like that's about the steel guitar in gospel music, and this like one specific sect of gospel music. It's the House of God, Keith Dominion, like Pentecostal church or something like that. It's like this really specific church that like their main instrument is the steel guitar. Like whereas like other ones might be the organ.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like steel guitar is like
So dope.
the focus, right?
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. This movie changed my life, and I was like really just like inspired to play the steel guitar. And so I was like playing lap steel guitar, like And that's what I took on that trip. And then I came back, and all of these things happened. And then I started this band, Grandfather Child.
Yeah,
So
so you saw that documentary. You went on this trip, and you were like busking up and down the coast, right?
Yeah,
like,
I was like trying to just play on the street.
That's amazing. That's like a whole holy journey of itself.
Did you make any money?
No,
It was.
I mean, I
Right?
never
Like,
really did well on that, but I just did it anyway. I was just like a little more of a vagabond
Yeah.
at that time.
But that's like a
sounds
whole
fun.
Well,
like
mid-20s.
that's a whole beautiful like spiritual journey of just kind of connecting with the instrument and stuff. Like I don't know, weirdly, like so with me it was like the harmonium, like that for me,
Ooh.
where I was just like for a while it's all I wanted to play, and I just like I would literally if I could play it anywhere I would, and it was just like folded up in a suitcase and stuff. But it was just like I don't know, that resonates with me of just going on that journey of just like you and that steel guitar. And just like you're gonna find places to play, and you're just gonna travel with it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It was very fun, and I mean, like that's probably when I wrote that first song.
Yeah.
Around that time period.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Big
yeah, like when it was like,
self-discovery. Yeah.
like I think the lived experience, like that's like a
Kicked
big part
in.
of what helps me throughout
Yeah.
my like musical journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so that makes total sense. It's funny because we were just doing another interview where she was talking about the old song she played us being like something that actually had nothing to do with her lived experience, which is sort of just like these imagined a lot a lot of people do that, like they write a song
make up
that's
a story.
basically just like a made up story.
Yeah, there's no one right way to do it.
I don't think I realized you could write a song that was not like autobiographical until I was, I don't know, 30. Like, no, but it has to be about you. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. But I love that, like, you kind of like had this like slow burn of like, musical experiences and influences and then like life experience. And it feels like it just all kind of like coalesced on this journey. And also just like, I love the romance of like riding the train too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean, you must have so many stories from just that trip.
Dude, yeah, a lot of great a lot of living, you know what I mean?
living.
A lot of life.
A lot of life.
You said you wrote the first song on that trip?
Yeah, it must have been around then.
Yeah?
It must,
Can we hear it?
Yeah, is that the song you're gonna play?
That's the one I'm gonna play.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Can we
Let's
hear
hear
it?
it.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, do I have to? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
The song's called "Ride That Train." It's from my old band, Grandfather Child. I'm gonna ride that train to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. To the bay, down to the bay, down to LA, down to the bay, down to LA, down to the bay, down to LA, down to the bay. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. I'm gonna ride that train down to California, yeah. To the bay, to the bay, down to LA, down to LA, down to the bay, down to the bay, down to LA, down to the bay. I'm gonna kiss that girl, I'm gonna kiss that girl. I'm gonna ride the train, I'm gonna kiss that girl. I'm gonna ride that train down to LA. I'm gonna ride that train down to LA. I'm gonna kiss that girl, yeah, on the train. I'm gonna kiss that girl, yeah, on the train, yeah, on the train, yeah, on the train, yeah, on the train, yeah, on the train. train down to California. I'm gonna ride that train down to California. I'm gonna ride that train down to California. Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. So you probably did write that around that time. That makes sense. I think we know.
Checks out.
I think we know what it's about.
Yeah, it was like the band playing it made it really exciting. You know, it was like some of like really great Houston musicians, and they like just made it sound amazing. You know,
How'd you
can
connect
hear
with
the
them?
record. It's on
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Spotify.
It's still out there. You know,
Good.
How'd you connect with everybody?
me and the drummer were really good buddies. We became good buddies through that scene I was telling y'all about.
Yeah.
And then I came back on this trip, and I was like, I want to start like a band that kind of sounds like that Sacred Steel movie, you know? And I showed it to the homie, and he was like, this is fucking crazy. And then we just started playing, you know, and it was really loud. It was like a loud rockin', kind of like blues, house rockin' blues band with the steel guitar being like the lead. It was like half that, and then like half like kind of like smooth R&B kind of songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then like the other cat, this guy Robert Ellis, who's a really great musician from Houston. He was in the band. He played bass, and then this dude Joffrey Muller, who's also a Houston legend in my book. One of my really good friends too. He was playing the guitar. So yeah, and it was just trying to make a soulful band that was a soulful rock band, you know, with the steel guitar. You know,
That's
was
the
like
focus,
that
yeah.
was the vibe.
Yeah.
Would you like mic it or plug it in or?
It was like mostly like electric.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like an electric rock kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So like tons of effects and stuff on it.
Yeah, like running it through the phaser,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a wah pedal,
Sweet.
delays and stuff. A lot, you know, it's like trying to play steel guitar in a different kind of way than what it's typically played as, like with like country or like Hawaiian kind of music, like
Yeah.
kind of like that feeling, but like not exactly, you know, just taking it to another. And I'm still playing it, you know. I'm playing steel guitar in a few new tunes that I'm writing.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Cool.
Hell yeah,
I'm
good.
trying to,
You're
like,
great.
I'm trying to bring it back a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's actually really tough to play it and sing at the same time.
I bet.
You feel me? Because
Yeah.
like there's like no frets, you know. It's like all by ear.
Yeah.
So, which is probably why, you know, I've practiced that song in like since the last time we tried to do this. So
Yeah, I know. I'm always really impressed by people who can play like fretless instruments. I'm like,
Oh,
but
yeah.
how do you know?
But yeah, it's like tricky too, because it's like, I mean, I really love that music, right? But like such a challenge to come here and play it for y'all, because it's like that's not like really where I'm at
Yeah.
in my mind anymore, you know? So it's like so interesting to like reach back and think about it and remember
Yeah.
that moment in my life.
Well, the
feel me?
grandfather,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
'cause, like,
seriously.
the grandfather-child moment was like a chapter
Yeah.
in the book.
Yeah, I mean, and like in Houston at that time, we were like a really good band.
Yeah.
We had like a following, and we got a little, you know, signed, and we went on some tours, and
hell
it was
yeah.
cool. It was a good time
Yeah,
for me.
you had a lot of like really glowing like local press. I saw.
Yeah, we were they fucked with us heavy. man.
Yeah.
for
Houston,
sure.
Houston was real proud of you.
Yeah, H
Yeah.
Town was like down.
Yeah.
But
So,
how long did that go? The grandfather
Probably like
child?
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then-
really? Okay.
Yeah, 2008 until maybe 2012 or something like that. Then it kind of fizzled out, and then I chose to like move out here.
Well, so where in the chronology of it all is you kind of had a bunch of different sort of like projects with different names. So when did the Fat Tony of it all happen?
Oh, yeah. Well, I produced a record for my man Fat Tony that came out in 2018.
Okay, so that was way later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was. It was 2018 when that one came out. And yeah, I mean, Fat Tony, I've known him since around the same time period, that 2001 era.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was he's younger than me by like 6 years or something like that. He's about my little sister's age. Him and my little sister were homies, and he would always be over at my mom's house,
Oh, nice.
jamming with my little sister,
Wow.
like playing. They were playing punk music or whatever, and
Oh,
just
cool.
jamming and having a good time. And so it's like I've known Tony since he was in high school.
Oh,
you know?
wow. Oh, that's so cool.
So like, I mean, I've known him for a really long time. And then like, you know, we both were in the Houston music world and coming up doing our thing or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we just kind of, when he was an adult, then we became buddies.
Yeah.
You know, and we started working together and jamming and partying and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
So after
Still one of my besties.
That's so
Yeah.
cool,
Shout out.
man. I love that. How you kind of, so like once you're an adult, 6 years isn't really that big a difference.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like it kind of levels out. So
Yeah.
you become peers.
And then it's also like, you know, as just musicians playing music together, making music
That's
together,
all
you
good.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
getting in the studio, making, you know, rap music, you know, making
Totally.
the producing and, you
Yeah.
know, that just kind of like leads you in all these different places, different people, different age groups, whatever, you know?
Yeah, I do love
So-
the kind of intergenerationality of like once you're playing, it's sort of, again, like levels out. So, okay, so Grandfather Child fizzles out around 2012. You moved to LA maybe like a year later.
I moved here in 2014.
Okay, yeah. So 2014, right. So, and then, I mean, it seems like almost like a reinvention.
Kind of, because like after that band, after Grandfather Child ended, I kind of just got more into the idea of being a producer,
Mm-hmm.
trying to make electronic music, trying to make beats, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just changing it up a little bit, you know.
Did that have anything to do with wanting to like be able to like kind of do it more yourself?
Yeah, to a degree,
Uh-huh.
I think so. But also, I mean, I think it was just my moment. I was like really into like funk,
Mm-hmm.
like Prince and disco. I started getting really
Yeah.
into disco and house and trying to make that music. Not really doing good at it, but like trying it, you know.
Right.
And then like around then, that's when I moved here. So it's like then I was just in that world for a while trying to. But all my stuff is if it's like me writing it, it turns out kind of soulful, like R&B, like soul, like
That's like,
Like
the connective tissue through it all.
yeah. Like it's kind of like that's the vibe. I think it's like kind of tough for me to like break out of that, but it's what
That's
it
good.
is.
Don't break out of it.
No, well, I mean,
I mean, it is what it
Please
is.
don't.
You know what I
Well,
mean? It's like
yeah.
what comes out of me, and I
Yeah.
can't do that. You know?
yeah.
That's so
So-
cool. It's like finding your voice
It's
there.
the authentic
Yeah.
expression, I guess.
Yeah, totally. But like, yeah, and it's like so that's kind of why I was saying earlier. It's like there's no right way to do it. If I'm like making songs that are soulful and that are based on my lived experience, that's just like how I do it for like when I'm writing a song.
Right.
But music is really complicated. You don't only have to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. You can try on different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so then how did you evolve into what was like the birth of like Lucas Heaven, the project?
So I used to like do music under this name Heaven the Dude, so, who's inspired by this rapper Devin the Dude. And I don't know if you guys remember, but like in the mid 2010s, it was very trendy to make a spoof name off of another artist.
Sure.
Chet
Oh, yeah.
Faker.
Oh, yeah.
Palm Trees.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just
Palm
like
Trees is
the
great.
list goes on. About
Yeah.
that was like, and now so
Trailer,
I was on that.
That's yeah.
I was on that like thought.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. Well, before I called it Heaven Spacey. and then so I was like, okay, that's funny. But then like, and I do love movies that Kevin Spacey was in, and I really liked a lot of his work. And then his
Yeah.
scandal came out, so I was
no.
like, damn, I can't really.
Don't want to be Heaven Spacey.
I can't do that.
I know someone who
So-
went by the name Cosby Sweater that had to change it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Kind of a similar reason.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be connected to that. But anyway, that was a stupid trend, and I did it. And then I just like, wanted to put my name in it. And then eventually I was like, okay, I've been making music under Heaven the Dude, producing it, producing music, and DJing and stuff like that. So I was just like, I'm going to call it Lucas Heaven because it's like I'm singing songs now. I'm trying to like really distinguish that.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yeah. Right. Huge energetic difference for sure.
yeah, and just trying to like get back into writing songs and stuff. And that's like what got me to change the name that way. So, And then I also like AC/DC, and they have the
Oh,
Slash
yeah.
in
Yeah,
their name,
I was
so
gonna
that's
ask
pretty
about
cool.
the Slash.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of I copied that,
Yeah. That's great. I love
Nice
it.
throwback
I was
to
gonna
like
ask-
the heavy stuff.
I was
you
going
know?
to ask about the
Yeah, yeah.
Slash. Yeah. And then like, you've gotten some like pretty good attention around this project. I mean, KCRW's top tune is like a pretty sick little feather in your cap.
Thank you. Yeah, they showed me some love on
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
they really
song,
did.
and then like that song "Every City Has a Rhythm," like it got a lot of love like in different countries, and I think that helped a lot. Mm-hmm. So like really showed me a lot of love in like the UK and then France,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
and then
Way.
a guy who's like one of my fans, and he's a really cool dude in Japan, like put out this 7-inch of that song.
Oh,
like it's like a
sick.
Japan release.
Oh, that's very cool.
So and yeah, it's like cool to have like it's like a 45 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Just like getting some global love.
Yeah.
That's I think
Amazing.
a really nice thing that happened that
Yeah.
I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
I mean, it also kind of totally makes sense based on just like what the song is about.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
They're like, yeah, our city has a rhythm too.
Hell yeah.
Every time I spin that song, someone always comes up and goes, "Who is this?"
That's cool, man.
Every single
I
time.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's another like lived experience joint.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I wrote that after some lived experience, and then it really helped me to like say it,
yeah. Well, okay. So then like you've just been kind of like quietly librarianing and then making like awesome music at the same time, which is, I think, really cool.
Has librarianing influenced you musically?
Yes, actually, it really
Let's get
did.
into it.
Okay, so I have this new tune that I wrote, and that I'm still in the production stages of it. I'm
Nice.
really stoked for it to come out.
Yeah.
It's called "Music Is Information," and so like I was like taking a class to. I just finished like a grad program to upgrade my teaching credential to be a librarian, and so I was like taking these like grad school classes for this subject, right? And then I started learning about like this information theory in like librarian world. So it's like how data transforms into information, and then that turns into knowledge. So it's like how that transmission of data into knowledge happens, And so it's like I'm gonna get real nerdy right now.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Go
like
for it.
so like if you think about like the way I learned it in the text, which I think illustrates it really well, is like there's like a volcano or a hurricane or earthquake or something, right? That generates data. And without any real like frame around it, it's just data. And then like the news company comes and like does a news story on the volcano or the earthquake or whatever, right? And then the data is like framed within that news framework, and it becomes like a news information,
Right.
a type of information that is news. And then like you read it and you're like, oh, there was an earthquake or whatever. I have
Volcano,
knowledge of
yeah.
the earthquake now.
Yeah.
And like that's like the simplified like way of how like that transmission happens,
Like the
right?
processing and
So I was like thinking about it, and I was like, what about music though? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Like, what is the data there? Like, what is the knowledge? What is the information of the music? And it's like kind of hard to quantify because it's like a creative art form, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think it's really fun to think about it, like in music, like what do you think the data is?
Yeah.
Right.
What is
it-
information?
is
if using that framework I just told you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Is the data like the notes on the page, maybe?
it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah, or like-
Absolutely. It could-
Yeah.
The notes, right? Maybe.
Yeah,
And then-
we're just talking about the emotion.
yeah.
Like, remember that where it's just like 14-year-olds, like young people writing songs on this show. A lot of people, their first song is like, "It's Too Late," and they're writing this at like 13, and they're just like writing these songs that are experiences they haven't had yet, but they want to communicate it. So it's almost like this emotion. The emotion is their data, and they're like trying to
Wow.
like communicate it somehow. So it's like, what formulas and processes do I have? Okay, this song on the radio sounds like what I want to communicate this data with or something. you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to write a song that's like, seems like this, you know, vessel for what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting that you do think about it that way, because I asked, one of my favorite things is like in my crew, I like have these thoughts and I like hit up everybody. I'm like, what do you think about this, bro? Like, do you think this is valid? Do you think this is interesting or whatever? You know, people giving me all their takes and stuff. And so a lot of people have said what you said, like the data is like the notes, the frequency A440 or whatever,
Yeah.
the third black key on the keyboard or whatever, right? Like the music on the paper, like even on the classical music where it says like expressive or,
Right.
you know, play quietly,
Legato.
you know,
Yeah.
playing like, you know, like whatever, right? Like all of that is that those pieces are data. And then like the putting it on the page, that makes it information,
Yeah.
right? And then, but what I think I realized was like, let's say all of us picked up an instrument, you know, and we just started jamming, right? We are making musical information right there, because it's like not only the data, it's like all the shit that's happened to you in your entire life that
Yeah.
will make you want to play the way you play, or make you play the way you play.
Right.
You know? So it's just like a really awesome thing to think about.
It's
you
a
know?
really
like
fun
the way it
thought
always,
experiment,
the
yeah.
soulfulness comes out of you, you know, like what you're just saying, where it's like, no matter what, there's going to be like the soul that comes out. It's almost like the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's just baked in.
It's just baked in. It's beautiful.
You know, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to sound like
Yeah. Or,
No, it's-
arrogant, right?
No,
but
but
like,
that's true.
you know, but like, I mean, it's just what it comes out of me. You know, it's
Or-
like
That's the volcano.
stylistically, that's
or maybe the data is like the kind of stimuli that inspire the song.
absolutely like the whatever your imagination came up with to like write that thing. You know, it's like your experience is the data at that point.
You're exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. The experience is the data, the song is the information, and then the knowledge is like whatever feeling you've kind of imparted to the listener.
Yes. When the listener hears it,
Yeah.
they like the way that another great way that Tex put it, it was like when knowledge becomes part of somebody's consciousness, it's like they've accepted it into their worldview.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like as something that's true, right?
Oh my God.
So it's like, you know, it's like you hear the song and then like you accept that into your worldview.
That's
you
why
know?
the song becomes like your audience's. After you put the song out, and it's kind of like, oh, it's not my song, because like it becomes your worldview, and then it means
It's theirs
something
now.
to
It
you.
means something to you. Yeah.
That it might not be like what you wrote the song as, but then it's just like, oh no, that song, you know, like
Well, damn, can we hear
everything,
it?
every breath you take, you know, like where people are like, it's a beautiful song, and Sting was like, no, man, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, it's like that's like a
stalking.
stalkery song,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like that was like something that really inspired me. But it's like the intellectual pursuit of being in school and like taking a class. That shit hit me. I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy. Like, what about all the other art forms? I mean, and the thing is, like, that theory is in the librarian world because librarians are concerned with getting people the information they need.
Love
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Love it.
it's like that's like why that theory, that data to information theory is so key. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I wonder like movies, poetry, everything, theater, right?
Everything.
Like it's like all that's a certain kind of information. You know what I mean? That's like,
Yeah.
and then like, dude, it's crazy because now the song on Spotify, that's data. You feel me? Like
Literal ones and
numbers,
zeros.
you know, the stream, the followers, like all that
Right.
shit.
Oh, that's it.
that's
That's
data.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
your numbers. You know what I mean? All of that, those metrics that are so important for musicians now.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh, yeah.
that's data.
So it
right?
basically-
So true, 'cause
basically
it adds
changes,
to the
like,
story.
How much you zoom in or out.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very like fractal.
It's like
Yeah.
meta. Yeah.
So meta.
Because it's so true. Because like you could see a song and then you see a bunch of numbers next to it, and it affects how you listen to the song or not. You know,
Oh my Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
like where you're just like, oh, this is a popular song. I'm gonna listen to it this way, or nobody's listened to this song. How good is it? You know,
And then you know about Forgetify?
No.
Forgotify or Forgetify or something.
Forgotify sounds right.
It's something like that, like one of those. But
Yeah.
it's like a index. It's a website that like I guess somehow indexes all the tunes on Spotify that have never been played, like zero plays. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Forgetify.
Yeah. And
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
like people have put out so much music, not got one play.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's
Crazy.
because like 60,000, 70,000 songs get uploaded every day.
Jesus.
So
This
it's
is like getting
it's
into
so-
like quantum physics
Bro,
now.
it's like so hard to be a musician. You know what I mean?
I
It's such a challenge to like, because that's the world we're in. You
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
So, but
It's
like,
unfortunate.
Damn. Well, can we hear that song?
it's not done.
Okay.
But man, if you came to my show, you would hear it.
yes.
You have any shows coming up?
No, I just played like so many shows this year.
Yeah, I saw.
Like I played like so many shows this year because like last year was not easy for me. So like had a lot of personal losses and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But this year I bounced back with like a bunch of shows. But I don't have anything in the books as of yet.
You were just
But
in Houston, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I played a show in Houston and then I played Echo Park Rising.
Yeah, you did.
That was fun. Then I played a show at this place Scribble.
Okay.
Y'all know about
I
Scribble?
love Scribble.
Yeah, so that was a really great, intimate evening.
Damn, that's awesome.
So,
yeah.
well, what song do you want to leave us with? What song do you want to splice
Oh
in?
man. Oh yeah. So I'm putting out this Talk Box album right now.
Oh.
So and the whole thing's on my Bandcamp. If you look up Lucas A.K. Heaven on Bandcamp, you'll find it.
Sweet.
But it's out right now. It's called Drank. It's a cover of Buy You a Drink by T-Pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like you should play that.
We will.
I turned the snare off. Oh, cool.
Baby girl,
gosh.
Dude, my guy.
You guys are so cool.
Yay, we did it. We got you on.
I'm glad to be back on this shit.
Thank
you.
you for coming
Again.
back and sharing your story, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry about the hard drive explosion. Thank you for doing the redo. You're an
I
amazing
I
dude.
think that one was better because we got to talk about. We didn't talk about music as information.
No,
last
'cause
time. we
that-
didn't
oh,
talk
yeah,
about that
that's-
theory.
yeah.
And you know that's really big for me
It's
right now.
huge. I love that stuff too. I could talk all day about it.
I can't wait to hear
Like,
the song
I love
when it's
it.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll send it to y'all.
I'll have to hit
send
you
y'all a
for,
little demo.
for updates. Yeah.
Thank you,
Sweet.
Lucas.
Thank you,
Thank you
Lucas.
so
Heaven.
much. Thank
Check
you.
him out.
Leave it to Lucas to get deeply philosophical with us. I'll be thinking about information theory for the rest of the year, and I can't wait to hear that track he teased when it comes out. Remember, you heard it here. He's working on a Talkbox album, and he just put out a 3-song EP of some very funky covers of some of your favorite R&B hits, including Pony by Genuine, Classic, plus a Jimmy Buffett track like you've never heard it before. Lucas Heaven is always up to something cool, so I would highly recommend following him on all the things so you don't miss his live shows like I did. Don't be like me. Go ahead and give us a follow while you're at it. We're sharing some pretty fire memes, as well as clips from the episodes, occasional visual aids, and who knows what else. We'll include the links to all these things, plus all the random stuff we talked about in the show notes. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week.